Hello everyone and welcome to episode 126 of the WMMA 5 series here on the channel. It is Pride FC Worldwide 28. Tim Sylvia taking on Ben Rothwell, our main event, as we don't have anything as far as mail to go through, so we can just hop right in to the show here. As, Tim Sylvia, Ben Rothwell's the main, very good co-main, and Chris Light on George St. Pierre. This is honestly a very good worldwide taping. I'm super excited to see how this plays out. Martin Kapman and Ryan Stout. Yushin Okami taking on Jacare Souza. That's a great showing for Jacare there. Gibby Yavel taking on Gabriel Gonzaga. And then Matt Hughes and Eric Davila way down on that card. Here's a former, welterweight champion who's kicking off the taping. Just crazy to think. Really the main thing for that is because we have 3 welterweight fights on this main card, which is a good bit. And I wanted to at least pace it out as much as we can. Having 2 heavyweight fights and a middleweight fight and 3 welterweight fights on that main card. That is, a lot of the same division, but a lot of great fights. So I think so. Hopefully, big hope there. But I'm happy that the main and co-main at least should deliver in a big way. So that will mean that we have a lightweight as what should have been maybe some lightweight stuff, maybe some women's fights on the prelim. But no, it's 2 middleweight fights, which Dan Miller giving up a solid 20 pounds. I mean, he's really fighting at a middleweight weight, compared to the other guys. But obviously, with the Pride middleweight division, it was capped at 205. So it's Dan Miller versus Nobuhiro Obaya. And then Alexander Gusterson taking on Roger Holland, a man that came into this promotion undefeated. It's like 12-0. Has really been railroaded every time he has faced someone. He's been destroyed just about every time. So Gusterson, even though he's only got like 2 fights under his belt, I think he's the favorite going into that fight. So that's interesting to see. As, we got for our main event, the analytics here. They have obviously fought once before. I remember the Pride 38, the Fright Night show, which Tim Sylvia won by unanimous decision. So that's crazy to think, because really those two, they've been on somewhat similar paths, though, since then. But I would say Rothwell has gotten some bigger wins than Tim Sylvia has. As Rothwell, he's finished 4 of his last 5 opponents. They're 2 of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. So Rothwell ranked 6th, Tim Sylvia ranked 10th. This is the 3rd time that Rothwell's going to main event a Pride event. I believe this is the first time from Tim Sylvia. They both trained at Roop Sport teammates. As Rothwell, he is the heavy favorite going into this one, which makes sense. He's beaten guys who look at that run. Taking out this Tim Sylvia fight, that's a hell of a top 4 to beat in Fedor, Arlovsky, Barnett, and Alistair Overeem, and that's huge. That's, Barnett, obviously, probably as far as name value goes, and as far as what he's accomplished, it's a big guy to beat, and it's crazy. He's lost to Pedro Hizzo. He had the Rafael Carreno, not only lost to him, but got finished by him, which I would love to run that fight again, because that was pretty awesome. 2 giants going at it. And he also lost to Gam McGee at UFC 39, which Gam McGee's a savage. That's someone that has always eluded us. But hopefully we'll be able to bring him in the future. But this is a fun fight here. Obviously, Tim Sylvia, it's like, well, he's only lost to Alistair Overeem. And he's still on a run, taking out guys like Rothwell. And he's taking out Fedor as well. And he beat Savachka. Hasn't faced somewhat, having beaten Rafael Carreno, but he also lost to Alistair Overeem. So it's so unique as far as how that all plays into effect. That was kind of more maybe prime Alistair, honestly, looking at that in mid-2000s. Overeem, he's probably at the top of his game. During the heavyweight Grand Prix, too, nonetheless, which is pretty crazy in itself. But and he was on just a string of knockouts. Had the split decision win over Fedor at Shockwave last year to end out the year. First fight of 2009. This should be very, very fun to see, though, as Chris lights out Lytle taking on George St. Pierre. This is a great fight for Lytle. He has been on a tear here in Pride FC. He's won 4 of his last 5 fights by decision, but he, 3-0, undefeated so far. Ellenberg, Stout, and Seattle Sikora, which those 3 names, as far as Seattle Sikora was ranked 3rd and Stout was ranked 10th, but even then, I wouldn't say they are the elite of the welterweight division. He's lost to Nick Serra in the past, to Drew Figgett in the past. He's lost to some interesting names, Joe Riggs, Jeremy Bennett, Daisuke Watanabe, and even Brad Blackburn. But as far as for him, he was someone that it looked like we would never be able to get him just because his record was so bad. When he left the UFC back in 2003, he was 8-5-3, and we hadn't had our welterweight division as of yet. And when we finally started it, he was at that point 12-7-4. We kind of got him off a whim at 16-9-4, which is still not a great record, but he has really proven that he is, as far as he had the rear naked choke against Seattle Secor in the first round finish. He's been on the, as far as he's never been anything besides a worldwide taping. So even if he loses to George St. Pierre, which he probably will, we'll probably give him something besides a worldwide taping show to at least let him have something else. Maybe it's a prelim of a pay-per-view, or it's on a one of the live worldwide tapings at least. But that's a big opportunity though for Chris Lytle here. Obviously George St. Pierre, he is coming off a loss to John Alessio, lost to Luis Santos and Dennis Hallman. Obviously his only losses in Pride FC have been against welterweight champions, so you can't really blame him for that. You could argue with the Seattle Secor finish there, it had to take him the third round for him to finish Seattle Secor, when we saw, obviously, with Chris Lytle, took him much sooner. It was a first round finish. So that's interesting. I think that's really why I wanted to make this fight, because looking at just MMA math there, took a little longer for him to finish him. He's coming off a loss, so it's a bit of a, it's someone that, at least for George, he hasn't fought anybody outside the top 10 but Jason Von Flue one time, and that was his third fight rather, in the company, and that was after facing a future welterweight champion in Dennis Hallman. So I think he deserves maybe a bit of a break here, as far as someone that's not as insane level of competition, which, shout out George for doing that, but he gets to take on somebody that's outside the top 10, and proves, for both guys here, as far as Lytle having an actual Blurcast staff member pick him as a favorite, that is interesting. I think he is a very tempting underdog. We'll see how it goes as far as the fight goes, though. And then Martin, the Hitman Catman, taking on Ryan Stout, as Catman has finished 4 of his last 5 fights. He's the 7th ranked welterweight in Pride FC. Ryan Stout 9th. Catman has a 6-inch reach advantage, which gives him all the Blurcast staff picks advantage. Now, he did lose his debut. He did lose to Jason Von Flue, which that's a tough debut. Jason Von Flue, someone that I've always attested was a savage, and just has, that he's surrounded by other better savages, unfortunately for him. But he's lost to Eric Davila and KJ Nunes, 2 guys that have not done so well in welterweight division. So it's kind of weird that he's a top 10 guy, almost a top 5 guy. He's just barely outside the top 5. And for Ryan Stout, he's someone that's 16-10-1, has lost both of his fights, lost to Jason Von Flue, someone that lost to Jason Von Flue and also lost to Chris Lytle. So really, as far as how he's going to go about this fight, it's interesting, because really for him, when he fought Lytle wasn't even ranked, which is, pretty crazy to think about. But he's lost to guys like Pete Spratt in the past, like obviously the John Alessio, but everyone lost to John Alessio, so that is what it is there. But for him, as far as he's still 30, maybe if he loses here, it's crazy to think he's even in the top 20 of the welterweights in the world, which I just feel like there's much better welterweights in the world than Ryan Stout is right now. I don't know, maybe I'm just doubting him. We'll see what happens with Catman. As Yushin Thunder Okami taking on Lalo Jacare Souza, as both have won 3 of the last 5 fights by decision. Jacare Souza, though, he definitely has the threat of being able to finish someone. It's just crazy. Yushin Okami, someone that, as far as he just lost to Gegard Mousasi in October, he beat Ed Herman in the past, Paul Filo in the past, Anthony Ruiz in the past, Alex Schoonover finished him in UFC, Dean Lester he's beaten, but he's lost to guys like Jeremy Williams and Philip Miller, so it's just kind of interesting as far as, that was earlier on in his career, so maybe that could be a test to it. But Yushin Okami, just as far as historically speaking, he's gotten a huge win over some big names in the past, so he might try to grind you out and try to kind of stay on top and just kind of lay and pray his way to victory, but I don't think he's going to be able to do that against Jacare Souza. 6-0, Jacare, obviously a savage, someone that doesn't mind being on the bottom. We just saw him kind of beat up Jeremy Horn for a good bit of 3 rounds. He's finished some tough guys, Rashad Evans, Yuki Kondo even, I would say, tough guy. So this is a great opportunity for him. It's crazy, he's only been on Brazilian Bushido. Oh no, he had the Bushido Osaka show. I'm sure that was the prelim for, and it was also at Pride 27 against Rodrigo Gracie. So just crazy to think, he's only had like a fight a year, hasn't had any multi-fight year deal yet. So I would love to see him be able to fight someone later on down the line here, and maybe a September and October, maybe even a November fight for him, so he can at least be 7-0 at one point. But yeah, this is a great fight for both guys, and yeah, definitely I could see Jacare getting the win. The Hurricane, Gilbert Yvel taking on Gabriel Gonzaga, as Gonzaga going to have the significant weight advantage. Heavy hands, Gabriel Gonzaga. This should be an exciting fight, though. I don't think Gonzaga's going to want to take him to the ground, but he does have the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background. That would be the smartest way to go about it, but I just feel like he's going to be a savage about it and try to stay in there and bang with him. The 29 and 19, 32-year-old Dutch kickboxer, as Gilbert Yvel just lost to Cain Velasquez, which was crazy. We really gave him a bone, but after beating guys like Dos Santos and Randleman, felt like he really had a chance to maybe beat Cain Velasquez, and took the second round, which that's most Cain fights, though, to be honest, but it's crazy, he's had the tough draw in the second round to take on Overeem, and he's fought Frank Mir, obviously the Alexander Emelianenko, even though that was a rings fight, that's a tough guy to face. He lost to Bob Sapp at Pride 24, Cold Fury 3, which that's pretty awesome that Bob Sapp won. Had the unfortunate, that was one of my favorite fights of the whole series, the Alexei Olenek Twister fight at Pride 21 Demolition. After coming back, getting knocked down, Olenek was able to grab him in a twister and finish him. It was such a crazy fight, and losing to Crow Cop. He's had some fun fights, even though he's been on the losing end for most of those fights. He might have an exciting one here against Gonzaga. Still going strong, though, at 32, which is crazy, because having all those fights at the beginning of the series, you think he would not still be at the point where he'd be able to take some high-profile fights, but he's still, he's on the main card of the worldwide taping here, and should be a fun fight, though, as we didn't really look through Gonzaga's run here. He's 8-2, 5-1. He lost to Greg Wicken, which the Wicken fight was just kind of a lot of lay and pray. He's had some tough, as far as like wrestlers and guys that'll grapple with him, but he hasn't really, besides Emelianenko, who finished him with a submission, really not a lot of guys. Well, Trey Tellerman, you could see, knocked him out in the second. Not a whole lot of guys will stand there and bang with him, so we get out of the jiu-jitsu in Frank Mir's case, but mostly wrestlers with Wicken and Heath Herring being able to just kind of stand there and have a great fight with him, hopefully there. As that's a nice matchup, though, for both guys. I think of Matt Hughes and Eric Big Ed Davila, as Matt Hughes trains in Military Fighting Systems, as Davila has an over record of 0-1 against other members of the team. Matt Hughes with a 5-inch reach advantage, 7-0. Obviously, Matt Hughes, a lot of fights, kind of towards the end of his career, 35. He's 6-7 in Pride FC, which is crazy to think. A former welterweight champion having a loser record in this, as far as... Crazy to think, he went to beating Jake Shields, lost to Cato. Of course, Cato goes on to the finals against Newton, and so that, Matt Hughes is the next guy up, beats Newton, then split decisions. Holland has to run into the bonesaw of Tetsuji Kato again, which of course Kato gets that armbar from the bottom. Did it 3 straight times. Holland even did it once, and so did GSP. He just could not stop anything from the bottom. It was pretty great. He just lost to Dan Hardy too. Got finished in the second round. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with him against Eric Davila, which I think a guy he definitely should win over. He's someone that's on the fringe of being sent down the rings after losing 3 straight fights, and he's lost to, the Sarah fight's understandable, but then, the split decision to Fickett, he got finished for Carlos Condit, which Condit's a savage, obviously, even though he's unranked, the dude's a savage, and he's lost to J. Allen and Chase Saunders in the past, lost to Tetsuji Kato in the past, so I just feel like this is a nice fight to have for both guys. And our prelims is Dan Miller making his Pride FC debut. He's the big favorite to win this one. And it's Nobuhiro Obaya, who does have a significant weight advantage, which I think is going to play into a factor of this. Even though Dan Miller's won 3 of his last 5 fights by decision, I think it should be a little closer. 7-1, he lost to Joe Dorkinson by a armbar at UFC 118. It's his one loss. As far as guys he's beaten, I don't know if these are generic guys as far as like generated dudes or what, but not really no names I'm familiar with. And then Obaya he's 4-2, and he's beaten guys like Thiago Silva. And, well, I mean, James Cejudo's win is pretty big, but that was in the UFC. And I mean, obviously the Shogun loss, I guess Shogun, and Hector Lombard's a tough guy to face, especially in a 2-round setting. But to beat Thiago Silva, I think that's a huge win for Nobuhiro Obaya, and I think it's going to be a lot closer than what the game thinks as far as being and Vegas thinks, with Dan Miller being the big favorite. We'll see how he fights, though, as Gusterson making his Pride debut, taking on Roger the Hawk Holland. 6-inch reach advantage. You see he's the big favorite to win, which is crazy because, like we said, he was 8-0. I was thinking he was double digits, but he was 8-0. Lost to Shot Evans, lost to Bader, which if you're losing Bader, I believe he was 1-0, or I don't think maybe not even had a fight at that point. So to lose to him, I mean, that's really showing of how you rank as far as the rest of the middleweights, and to have someone like Alexander Gustafsson, who is 2-0, and really hasn't fought any high-level guys. He finally gets his Pride of Fee debut after having them for about a year, and this should be a mauling from the mauler. Should be. We'll see how it goes. As it's minus 440 for Alexander Gustafsson as Voss Gym, of course, Stockholm, Sweden, boxing background for Gustafsson at 6'5", 205. I mean, he's a fucking assassin in there, and Roger Hollett, wrestling background. If he's able to get a hold of him, maybe he's got a chance, but I just don't see it happening. Big John's the referee, ringside judges, round 1, as there's a crunching straight right after a left jab, and he knocks him down, and look at the finish with stomps and kicks, but Roger Hollett's already back up, so that's a great job from Hollett to survive that, at least. I'll give him that credit, but Jesus Christ, Gustafsson about to finish him with 2 shots. And let's look at find his jab, but he fails to find his home, and then he lands a low kick. There's another straight right that lands hard. And there's a large gash on the forehead now. That's not good, as now he's preparing to throw again. 2 punches don't hit. And there's a beautiful right uppercut, and he knocks him out. Yeah, I mean, Alexander Gustafsson's definitely someone you don't want to fuck with. As, yeah, the 2-minute finish there. Watch out, the rest of that middleweight division. As it was Chandra Bader. That'd be an interesting fight, because 2 polar opposites there. Obviously, they just beat Roger Hollett, so I think we definitely could make that fight on the prelims there. As last prelim fight, Dan Miller, Nobuhiro Obaya, 7-1, 6-5, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu style, Shudo style, minus 550. I didn't think it was that close, or that far out, rather, as far as a betting line being a favorite that heavy. I just don't see it as... We'll see what happens, though. Big John staying out there, ringside judges. Because, I mean, Miller's giving up at least 30 pounds. I think that should play into some type of factor. Obaya getting a loud ovation. Here we go. They touch gloves. Obaya aggressively moves in, grapples with him. I mean, well, there you go. Can't move him at all. So, they're looking for the sweep. It blocks that at least. Miller prevents the knee strike. Catches him with a knee strike now as Obaya. Trying to muscle him up. He can't do it, though. And now looking for a sweep. I mean, we're kind of at a stalemate here. So I wouldn't say it's completely one-sided, but he's able to get some knee strikes in. Knee strike to the side of the stomach now. He's got him pinned. Looking for the takedown. He's got him. Oh my God. I mean, listen. I don't say I warned everyone, but he's someone not to fuck with. I thought Nobuhiro Obaya, with that size advantage and his style, and Dan Miller being a jiu-jitsu guy, he was not going to be able to outstrike him. So I didn't see how Nobuhiro Obaya was not going to win that fight. And he definitely proved it there. He's someone not to fuck with. And if you're in that middleweight division, you got to... Because he's a tough guy. Tough guy for sure. I'd love to see how we could do maybe against another top 25 guy. Maybe just Dan Miller's just not up to snuff. No, who knows? That's a tough thing to really gauge. But, yeah, he's that would have been easy money. That would have been a nice plus 430, as far as put at least a couple $100 on my boy Nobuhiro Obaya. That would have been a nice return. That's how confident I was in this man, but he gives a name check to win at Rodeo Sports, or Rodeo Style, rather, all of his various sponsors. That should be what it's called, the Rodeo Sports. As all of his various sponsors, all of his friends, family, supporters, showing respect Nobuhiro Obaya, praises Miller for his skill and toughness. So, first main fight, It's the two veterans here, 31 and 9, 20 and 10. Matt Hughes, both 5'9", both 183, both mid to early 30s. Matt Hughes a favorite here, but we just saw what a heavy favorite can do, though. As far as being saw a minus 550 favorite go down. Now, there's similar backgrounds. I would say Hughes does have the edge, though, over him, and I think he is the rightful favorite for sure in this fight, as Iwan Takao is a referee. Ringside judges, here we go. They clinch up. Hughes is the aggressor, looking for a slam. I fucking love Matt Hughes is able to slam him down, but now he's going to lay him prey. I don't love that, as he's keeping close contact. Davila pulls him in with a couple of short punches to the side of the head. Yeah, I don't love this. Still laying on top of him. Thank God Takao stands him up. As looking to again push him against the ropes. He does so this time, as he's looking for the trip. Davila blocks it. Looking for it again. Man, he blocks it again. Now Davila looks to go down low, grab a leg, which he does, and now he's standing, and Hughes gets dragged to the mat. And see what Eric Davila does. A few weak-looking moves. Trying to now punch him down, trying to sweep him. That's not happening. Some big right hands from Davila, but Hughes deals with him comfortably. Blocks the sweep. As Davila trying to get past guard, and here's a scramble. Hughes somehow winds up underneath him of north-south control of Eric Davila. A couple of elbows in the midsection, not really. Just kind of laying shots to lay shots and trying to scramble out. That's not happening. Minute left, another elbow. As he's just going to kind of stay there. Oh, nope, there's a scramble, though, as for Matt Hughes. But Hughes now loses out in the scramble again, so Davila just going to land a couple of shots in and out the round. So, yeah, an interesting fight here, because really for this one, this first round at least, looked like Matt Hughes, nice slam, was like, all right, he's going to be in control, but really didn't do a lot after he just laid and prayed. Once they stood him up, I felt like Davila, I think he controlled the majority of the round, because I want to say he took him down with around 6 to 5 minutes. So, I mean, it's if you're talking the 5 minutes, then it's half and half, and he did more damage. I think he won that round. We'll see, though. But nothing really happened, though, so not a great start to this worldwide taping, as they clinch up now. Hughes is the dominant one, trying to get some dirty boxing, which is, did not see that coming, as he's got him now. It's now Davila with a knee strike just above the hip. Oh, there's a nice short uppercut. Look at Matt Hughes going with some dirty boxing. I love to see this. Now he's looking for a Muay Thai clinch. What in the world is he going to do here? There's a knee strike to the ribs. Finds an attempted knee strike caught, and the leverage allows Davila to wrestle free out of it. So Hughes is starting to breathe a little heavier now. They, again, clinch up. They both have the same idea. Looking for the slam. Davila defends it well. That's big defense there, because that could have really made a dominant, Matt Hughes as far as looking for the sweep, though, and that gets blocked. Davila trying to take him down. He does. It's a nice takedown, but I don't think it was enough to win the round. Just felt like Matt Hughes did more. But, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting third round here, because obviously Davila won, I think, the more important round. If you look at kind of the fight as a whole, you might see, as far as Davila might have the favorite still, as far as with strikes and whatnot. I think Matt Hughes, with those strikes, I think he was able to make it close. We'll see, though. Davila slumps back on his stool, head down, staring at the floor. Yeah, he feels defeated. So they get up close to wrestling. Hughes looking for the trip. He blocks it. As now Hughes hits him with a couple of punches to the side of the head. As he blocks him there, as it doesn't last long, as they soon break away from the grapple. Hughes is still definitely breathing slower, and they clinch up again. Looking to muscle him against the reps. He does so, does Hughes. Hughes has definitely tired himself out here, but so far it hasn't worked to his detriment until now, I think, because he's still throwing shots. There's an elbow to the face. Still trying to dirty box him. They get up close, as Davila seems the aggressor, looking for the takedown, not happening. Hughes doesn't get the takedown either. Now Davila's trying to get him to the ground. And we're basically at a stalemate here. Looking for the trip. Yeah, not happening. And they break apart now. Then out the third. Kind of an anticlimactic third. It's weird, Davila was really defeated going into that round, and it was pretty close as far as they both stopped each other's shit, and really not a whole lot happening. Just one strike advantage to Davila, but even then, I felt like Hughes probably did a little bit more as far as engaging and controlling the round and all that, and pushing up against the ropes. But we'll see how the decision goes. All three to Matt Hughes. I don't hate that, but I felt like at least maybe some consideration to what Davila did, because at least he was passing on the ground, and he had a little bit more takedowns, and he landed more strikes, but, at the same time, I guess he wasn't in control for the majority of the fight, is how you would rule that, but just could have went either way. I think that was a lot closer than the unanimous decision, but that's just me. As he praises Davila for his skill and toughness, as Matt Hughes gives out some praise to his team. Mills' trying system is very responsible. Fans came out to support him. So our next one, the Hurricane, Gilbert Yvel, taking on Gabriel Gonzaga. Hopefully we get a fun one here. As a minus 780 favorite, Jesus Christ, for Gabriel Gonzaga. The Muay Thai background for Gilbert Yvel, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background for Gabriel Gonzaga, but obviously he's got some heavy hands and can throw out a head kick. Poor Crow Cop has Team Quest, no team for Gilbert Yvel, which if you don't have a team going into a main card fight, you're probably going to lose. Here we go. Neither fighter's going to touch gloves. Gonzaga, wisely. It's not going to be as far as the most exciting thing, but he's smartly going to try to get a takedown here, which he's not going to be able to stop that. As he's going to dominate him now. As Yvel's doing everything he can to slow him down and frustrate him, which is a great thing, but I don't think he's going to be able to withstand that for an entire 20-minute fight. As Gonzaga throws a few strikes, clearly slowing things down, trying to get in the mount. Gives up his back instead, and blocking Gonzaga from getting hooks in now. As he gets turned on his back. Look at that. Way to go, Gilbert Yvel. As he's going to stand up with him. Has a left hand and a right cross. Holy shit. As a nice feint from Yvel causes Gonzaga to open up, and here comes a counter from Yvel with a quick jab and a nice right hook. Halfway point now. Gonzaga misses again. Here comes a good right hook. There's a gash underneath the eye now of Gonzaga. This is the night of the underdogs here, as both fighters move in and engage. Gonzaga missing again. Here comes a left jab and a quick leg kick to the lead leg. Yvel with a left hand and a spinning back kick to the chest. As Yvel misses all the strikes on the combination then with a spin kick, and Gonzaga's going to shoot in again. Driving up against the ropes, look for the trip. Yeah, he's going to get that trip. He gives up his back, rear naked choke. Not happening. As, again, he spins through his guard, though. Look at Gilbert Yvel go. I fucking love this. As he stands up, again, remains holding the feet to prevent the up kicks, and there's a stomp. God damn. As, from Yvel, and now there's a strike exchange, counter left doesn't connect, though. Connects to the jab, and finds nothing but air on the big right. Yvel starting to breathe a little heavier now. There's a left hand from Gonzaga. Falls for the feint, which, can't hit the step left jab. There's a slithering kick to the legs, though. Z1 the Cop's going to cause a call for the pause. Check on the cut, which, not much of an issue. So we restart with about a minute left in the first. They meet in the center. Left hook from Yvel. And there is that fucking power there with that wicked right uppercut, and he knocks him out cold. What a fight that was. That was a lot of fun. Gilbert Yvel, man, he might be a scumbag IRL, and is a bit of a dirty fighter, but here, he's had some exciting fights when you're able to have him not, like, you can't program someone to be a dirty fighter, so there's not some shenanigans. So Gilbert Yvel, though, what a win for him, as far as, Gilbert Yvel getting a win, don't mind me, as Gabriel Gonzaga, what a win for him. There's some fucking dyslexia there bobbing up. I was just reading his name there when I was talking for some reason, but, that was a hell of a fight. A lot closer than what, again, I don't know what the Vegas odds had against Gilbert Yvel there, because he really did a lot of great stuff as far as being able to spin out of having, Gonzaga's back control to go into guard. Like, that was just tremendous stuff. As praise the team at Team Quest, very responsive to all the fans who came out to support, and calls it a fantastic fight and a career highlight, and says he hopes the fans enjoyed it. Yushin Okami taking on Jacare Souza. On our next one, 12-3, 6-0. It's crazy. This is the closest betting line so far. As Pancracism, GB Tai, as for Jacare Souza, 6'1", 205, 6'2", 205. Kakanawa Kanto, Japan, for Yushin Okami. My God, I don't know what's going on. As Iwantakawa will be our referee, ringside judges. So Okami gets a good reaction from the fans. The enters finally from a home crowd tonight. And here we go. They get up close to wrestling for position. Jacare, the aggressor, looking to pull him down to the guard. He does so. Gets sucked into the guard, looking for an armbar from the bottom. That would have been pretty nuts. As leans back to avoid a couple of preventing Jacare to throw some elbows at the top of the head. As Jacare is controlled against the ground, unable to shift Okami. As Okami, he's played right into his strength, unfortunately. But he's going to try to lay in prey against poor Jacare. As keeps close body-to-body contact. Still trying to elbow him off the top of the head, but it gets smothered again. They're going to stand him up, luckily. Shockwave gets control of the clinch. He's going to suck him right back down. Look up an arm. Can't do it. And now we're back into Okami's world. As he's able to at least drag him in close to hit a couple of short punches, but it's still not enough there. As, my God, Okami should be embarrassed. Should be ashamed. Shockwave, please get it. Thank God. Gets the arm bar. Shockwave, so is your winner. Poor fight, and there was that danger of that happening, but at least Shockwave got the finish in the first and makes that 7-0. I just felt like, at least, because you know Yushin Okami is going to kind of try to lay and pray. Someone that's so dangerous off his back like Shockwave, I figured maybe he'll be able to catch him, which luckily he did. Luckily he did. There's Martin, the Hitman Catman, taking on Ryan Stout, 10-5, 16-10-1, Las Vegas, Nevada. Ohio, as 30 years old, 27 years old, 6 foot, 183, 5'10", 183. Team Quest, Team Link, Muay Thai background, mixed martial arts background for Ryan Stout. Plus 260, underdog, minus 330. Favorite for Martin Catman. Hideki Nagumo was the referee, ringside judges. Here we go, they touch gloves. Meet in the center. Stout misses the right hook. And can't catch Stout with some good head movement, as he allows him to slip away with 3-punch combination. As Catman misses the right hook and gets countered with a jab and a leg kick that narrowly misses. Combo ends with a roundhouse body kick, fails to land for Catman there. They come together and strike as a Stout feints to one side, causing Catman to react and leaving himself off balance as Catman missing the right cross, leaving himself open for a counter. Stout comes in with a left jab and a right hand that narrowly fails to connect. The jab lands for Catman, misses the vicious right hand, can't connect with the jab, scores to the leg kick, can't connect with the jab, lands the right hand. Stout's able to grab him now, it's got some knee strikes. Now gonna move against the ropes, trying to at least, but Catman defends it well. There's a knee strike to the body. A knee strike to the body from Stout. Keeps him, trying to keep him up against the ropes. He does so this time. Looking to go down low and grab both legs. He's got it, but he goes for the guillotine. Oh, he's got it caught, though. Maybe. Oh, and he slips out of it. Man, and it's applied, though, still. But it wasn't sunk it in fully. He finally has to, Catman probably gassed himself here, trying to force the tap out. There's still a lot of time left. That might have been a terrible idea. As moving in the second half of the round, Stout punches down on Catman. He's taking on the gloves. Trying to just try and pull him in and smother him. Doesn't get anywhere with that. Some small strikes here. Some more minor strikes. So throws some elbows now. Trying to pull him into pepper and short strikes, but he can't. Catman's trying to catch him with a punch, but it's off target again. We're going to have no progress here as Catman steps forward. And they stand him back up as Catman trying to get a strike exchange started. Counter jab, it misses. Connects the jab, but Stout dodges the roundhouse body kick that comes in next. Either fighter can really land a good shot here. Stout slips past the right hook, and there's a jab and a body kick that again fails to land. So Catman comes close, looking to, because he's got the reach advantage. He's got like a 6-7 inch reach advantage. You'd think he'd be able to land a lot more shots, but Ryan Stout's done a good job so far on the defense here as he lands two left hands rather from Catman, but Stout avoids the big right. Combo ends with a roundhouse body kick, fails to land for Catman here, as he was even ready for it and manages to catch it. Maybe looking for a takedown, but they can't do it. As remains stuck against the rope, Stout tries to go down low and grab both legs. Is he going to get the takedown? He does. It's a big takedown to end out the round. Yeah, I mean, Ryan Stout definitely, I think, won that round, and Martin Catman's in big trouble. But Catman, he's got clear signs of beating here to the body so far. He's got red marks all around the rib cage, his body shots, but he's able to land them. Stout, and he's been able to land a lot of stinging shots. We might see another upset here tonight. We'll see as they come together and trade leather. Neither fighter can really do any damage. Stout steps forward, willing to take a few shots, gets close enough to wrestle now. Nice jab and a slithering kick to the legs. Stout comes in for the takedown, doesn't get it. Drives him against the ropes, so looking for the trip. He's got it again. Superb outside leg trip this time, and not a double leg. He's trying to move the guard. Looking for an arm triangle, as Catman trying to get... trying to fight that off, which he does. He blocks it. And been a nice win for Ryan Stout, though. An arm triangle out of side control, but didn't get it as he's catching his breath. If you're Ryan Stout here, you know you're in control. You know you won the first round. You're probably going to win this round here, so there's just no way you're going to lose this fight. As far as going into the third, you should be just trying to just keep him down as long as you can. But Hideki Nagumo thinks that they've been down there long enough and stands back up with 20-some seconds left. Both fighters meet in the center. Catman slips past the right hook and counters with the right cross. Another slipping past the right hook and with a right hand there. A couple of nice shots, but I don't think it was enough to sway that one. If you're Mark Catman, you got to go all out. You got to be the hitman. Which he tried. He misses all the strikes, though, and then with a spin kick attempt. Quick punches that land, though. Stout gets a hold of him. He stops the takedown, does Catman, though, and he sprawls and steps away safely now. Catman's starting to feel the fatigue a little bit now. Yes, Stout's able to move in fast and clinch with Catman. He's trying to push him against the ropes, but Catman isn't going anywhere. And he out-wrestles looking for the Muay Thai clinch, but Stout out-wrestles him this time, and he gets a better control of that one, and Catman wrestles it. Oh my god, they just keep on trading it back and forth. This is nuts. Stout now trying to get him up against the ropes. He does so this time. Smothers him, looking for the takedown. He's got it, and I think that will seal Ryan Stout's fate as he gets his first win in Pride FC. Yes, a couple of elbows, but yeah, I mean, he was just laying and praying, really, for the most part. As your winner by unanimous decision will be Ryan Stout, as Martin Catman. Tough start for him. The heavy favorite really didn't even have a full-on chance there. You look at the fight metrics. Stout pretty much dominated him, so that's not a great sign if you're Martin Catman. But great win, though, for Ryan Stout. As everyone connected to Team Quest, he thanks him for everything prepared for the fight. His sponsors supporting financially, showing respect. Ryan Stout praises Catman for the skill and toughness. This is our co-main event. Fight I'm excited to see. Chris Lights Out Lytle and George Rush St. Pierre. I think this should be a very fun fight. Lytle's someone that's not a boring fighter by any means. He's looking to bring it, and I think this will be a hell of a fight. Hell of a fight here in the welterweight division. So Hideki Nagumo's the referee. Ringside judges. Even though he weighed in at 183, both guys did, but Chris Lytle's definitely probably fighting at like 195. Maybe even 200, I doubt it, but, which is weird, because I never really, when I picture, Chris Lytle, as far as looking back at his previous fights and kind of thinking back to what, I never thought of him as, like, a heavier welterweight, but I guess he was, as, they touch gloves. Lytle gets in close clinches with him. Lytle's trying to push him against the ropes. He does so. Chris Lytle might have George St. Pierre on the ropes here. I mean, he literally does, but this is so far a bad start for GSP. He remains trapped against the ropes, though. Can't seem to get free. As now looking to sweep him. He does so. God damn. As St. Pierre pulls him in close, hits him with a couple of short, sharp punches to the side of the head now. Clearly trying to slow things down, but GSP still able to pull him in and hit some short strikes, but it's not really doing a whole lot here. Tries to catch him with a punch, but it's off target. Hideki Nagumo's going to stand up. Oh, that was pretty fast. As both fighters want to come in close and they get into the clinch as Lytle's the aggressor. St. Pierre gets caught with a knee strike to the body as he's trying to get the knee, but gets blocked as GSP's trying to push him against the ropes. He does so. As, Lytle not able to get free, as just kind of wear him out as GSP trying to do. But Lytle reverses, so now he's back in control. And goddamn, as Hideki Nagumo is separating him. That's a tough break for Chris Lytle. He just got in control as they come together in over-under position now. Lytle's the aggressor, trying to push him against the ropes, but St. Pierre out-wrestles him. Now trying to get right back into the ropes, but he does a great job there. And Chris Lytle gains the dominant position now, and makes a nice knee strike there to the side of the stomach. Got him up against the ropes, looking for the trip again. Chris Lytle might just beat George St. Pierre, but oh well, as I say that, looking for the armbar from the bottom. Lytle stops that. They're looking for it again to end out the first, but that does not happen. This is just a fun fight to do, obviously. Not only that, but kind of like all timeline thing when you think if Chris Lytle would have won his season of, the Ultimate Fighter 4, the comeback season, if he beats Matt Serra and he goes on to GSP, maybe he's the one who pulls off the major upset, not Matt Serra. St. Pierre looking for the takedown, partially defends it. As he can't get him down, so he pushes him against the ropes. Now he's going to put all that weight on him, which, even then, he's now bigger than him, but that was smart, of Chris Lytle coming in a little heavier than normal. As he's pretty much trapped there thanks to the control of St. Pierre that he's exerting. And Hideki Nagumo is not shy of breaking these guys up, which I don't mind at all. Some of them have been a little too quick, but hey, that's fine by me, as Lytle simply took the initiative, though. Two-punch combination, but St. Pierre avoids both of them. Peter tried to go for him for a takedown, but Lytle took the initiative. 1-2 from Lytle, fails to land. Lytle might have, he might tire himself out, though, when it comes to the third, because GSP's cardio is insane. Got him against the ropes, but Lytle keeps on fighting it. Got him against the ropes, and St. Pierre smothering him now. A couple of short punches to the body and the side of the head. Now Lytle reverses, so he's the one in control, looking for the trip, and every time he's got him in that trip takedown, he's been able to do it every time. I mean, this is a great performance from Chris Lytle. Now, this is an interesting one, because GSP was basically dominating that round up until basically the last like minute or so once Lytle got him up against the ropes finally and got the trip takedown. But this is going to be an interesting one to grade here because I think Lytle's winning this fight so far out of these first 2 rounds. We'll see what happens though. Not a great second round though. Hopefully we get something a little bit more exciting here in the third. Can't connect with the jab that lands the right hand. This GSP, he's got control using his wrestling now. St. Pierre's trying to get him against the ropes. He does so. Now he's got a pin. Looking for a takedown here with the double underhooks. What a Greco-Roman slam here as he's only able to pull half guard. Lytle, though, right away gets some separation on the scramble, but St. Pierre's too quick and is able to grab side control. Lytle's trying to transition the guard, but there's some quick elbows. Don't do much damage, though. As he's throwing some strikes here. Keeps him guessing a few strikes. Final minute of the round, St. Pierre punching down. There's some elbows now. Blocks it in the pull guard. And dominant round from GSP. Absolute dominant. This is going to be a tough one to grade. We'll see what the judges think. Wow. That's tough. He did outstrike him. I will say that. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at the entire fight, because you probably would give GSP the second, and you'd probably give him the third, for sure, and he had a dominant round, so it comes down to, yeah, Lytle probably won the 10-minute round, but I think GSP, he tried to go for some submissions to end out the first round, so he was at least trying to finish the fight there. You got to give him some credit there, but some tough judging here tonight. That was interesting. Poor Chris Lytle, though, he really gave it his all, though. I think that was a valiant effort. Tough first loss in Pride FC here, but a nice performance, though, I think, from both guys. As GSP gives a name check there at the Canadian Martial Arts Center, all of his various sponsors, all of his friends, famous sports. He says he's going to celebrate his win by heading to a local club for a victory party, and everyone's invited. Yeah, that's exactly what George St. Pierre would do. Tim the Maniac Silva taking on Big Ben Rothwell. Boy, oh boy, as Tim Sylvia, Ben Rothwell, 2 giant heavyweights, gonna battle it out here in the rematch. Big Ben Rothwell, heavy favorite, minus 300, but so far we see tonight that these betting lines, it does not matter, honestly. They're both Roof Sport teammates. I think it should have been a little closer than a minus 300 plus 250, but that's just me. Big John's a referee. Ringside judges, opening bell. Here we go. They touch gloves. Sylvia on the attack. Counter left. It doesn't connect from Rothwell 1-2, but Rothwell was equal to it. As Sylvia stepping into the pocket. Jab lands, but the falling body kick misses. It's really tentative now. Neither fighter can really land a good shot. Tim Sylvia forcing the strike exchange. Avoids the jab. Able to move back into the pocket. Jab and a right hook. As both fighters can't really land anything significant now. As a counter jab. As he connects the jab and misses the vicious right hand. As Tim Sylvia tries to jab but misses. 2 left hands land from Sylvia and then misses the big head kick. They meet in the center again. Sylvia feints and causes Rothwell to open up, and here comes Rothwell with the big right hand that puts him off balance, missing with the big right hand, and here comes Sylvia with a left jab and a right hand with the counter. 2 left hands off the counter from Rothwell. Sylvia can't connect with the jab, but he catches him with a crunching right hook, halfway point in the first round. Rothwell again. Here comes the counter from Sylvia. As it misses the right crosses Rothwell, and there's 2 jabs followed by a right hook that's ducked from Sylvia's. Tim now, Rothwell throws a counter left hand, doesn't connect, and Sylvia fails and then he strikes the combination end of a Sithering low kick. Jab lands the left hand, Sylvia lands the left hand rather, and then hits Sithering leg kicks again to Rothwell. Great first round so far from Tim Sylvia. There's 2 left hands from Rothwell. 2-punch combination avoided by Rothwell. Sylvia still coming forward. There's a jab in the exchange. Can't connect with the jab and another low kick. Do like these leg kicks from Sylvia. And there's a left hand and a straight right hand that lands hard. And it's a counter left hand from Rothwell. Connects the jab. Rothwell finally dodges the kick. And Sylvia's starting to get a little tired now. Sylvia was stepping into the pocket. 1-2 fails to land. He's still coming on the attack. There's a jab. Left jab there from Sylvia. Big punch. It gets avoided though by Rothwell. Come together and strike. Neither fighter can really do anything. Sylvia glancing at the clock. Yeah, he's got a minute 30 left to keep the pressure on him. Steps back into the pocket after avoiding the jab. Doesn't trouble his opponent with a combination of low kicks. Walks him down. There's a counter left hand from Rothwell. There's a left jab. Can't connect with the right to the body. As, oh man, Rothwell gets countered with a jab and a clean right hand to end out the round. Great round from Tim Sylvia. Great round. Rothwell's in a bit he's in a tough spot here because he hasn't been able to get close enough, I think, to grapple. And even if I think he does, I just don't think he has enough for Tim Sylvia, which is just crazy to think because it seems like Rothwell was the better of the two, since their last encounter. But Tim Sylvia has proven that he is a tough-ass competitor. And, well, speaking of that, here comes a dodging of the right hand. This Tim Sylvia counterattacks with a pair of jabs and a good right hook. Another good right hand off the counter. Then another leg kick, this time from Rothwell, though. And as he doesn't connect with the left jab, it lands a nice right hook. Jab is wide, then catches Rothwell with a right hook. And there's a crunching right hook from Silva. I cannot believe Tim Sylvia has not dropped him yet. Misses the right hook, leaves himself open for a counter. Here comes a left jab and a right hand. Tim Sylvia is pretty much blown up at this point, which is not a great sign. Great opportunity for Rothwell, though. He's able to get him down. He kind of rope-a-doped him there in the first. Let's see, he's going to lay and pray. Probably not the best idea. Probably not, because I don't think that's going to be enough. There's a couple of short punches from Tim Sylvia on the bottom. Yeah, I don't think Rothwell did enough there. I don't know what he was thinking. Final round now, they meet in the center. Sylvia misses the jab, it also doesn't connect with a low kick. Rothwell tries to throw a straight right, but Silva simply lets him slip right past him now. As Rothwell misses the right cross, Tim Sylvia attacks with a nice right hook off the counter. And Tim Sylvia definitely still feeling more and more fatigued here, slipping past the right hook and attacks with the right hand. There's a jab and a nice straight right hand. If he probably had some stamina behind him, these will probably definitely be registering as far as a heavy shot, but so far Rothwell's been able to keep on trucking. Can't connect sub strikes and hits him with a straight right. Connects with the jab and misses the big right hand. As Tim Sylvia still just throwing strikes here. This is a great sign for him. Confidently moving closer now. Looked like you're about to see Rothwell try and get in some grappling here, but Sylvia was more aggressive, took the initiative. Sylvia uses the left jab and misses the big right hand. Second half here, the two commands meet in the center. Tim Sylvia, he's just got 2 minutes left. That's all he's just got to survive. As Rothwell misses the big right hand, here comes the counter from Tim Sylvia again. Attacks with the left jab with the big right hooks, avoiding the last possible second. Rothwell looking for the takedown. Doesn't even get it this time, even though Tim Sylvia is completely exhausted. Rothwell's just going to push him against the ropes. He's finally got the big takedown this time. Looking for Kimura. Oh my God. Ben Rothwell with the comeback of all comebacks so far in this save. He was going to lose that fight. Just had a minute left at Tim Sylvia, but his stamina, his conditioning failed him. I can't believe that. What a fucking win for Big Ben Rothwell. I was just kind of picturing, like, who's he going to fight next? I was going to give him, like, Rafael Carino next. Just to be like, listen, he lost in the second fight to Tim Sylvia. We probably should do a third fight. Which sucks, because, the episode's going to end. Or the series is going to end relatively soon. So I don't think we'll be able to do the trilogy, because, man, I can't believe that, though. That's a crazy loss for Tim Sylvia. He's going to have restless nights thinking about that one. That's such a tough way to lose. You're winning the fight, and he wants to take on Big Nog. I think we'll give him probably Cole Crop. I'm really not sure. I cannot believe that fight. Unreal. Gives a name check to everyone on a roof spot, all of his various sponsors, all of his friends, family, supporters. SVB interested in fighting next. He applies our respect for Big Nog there. It takes to be a great fight. That would be a great fight, though. But I just feel like Big Ben's ready. He's the third ranked heavyweight in the division. He just has been on a tear so far. Somehow survived the Tim Sylvia onslaught. But, the heavyweights really came in clutch there. That was a fun little fight for them, and the prelims were pretty fun. A couple of, big upset. And at least we didn't lose any pop in Japan, and everything else was pretty much good to go. A lot of positives there. Yeah, definitely got to give some performance bonuses to Rothwell. We got to give one to GSP. Give one to Stout as well. We'll give one to Jacare. Yeah, I know Jacare was the favorite, I want to say. Might not have been. Let me double check that. Yeah, he was the favorite, because they would have said something. Oh, and Nobuhiro Obaya. A lot of performance bonuses. I'm feeling generous. In a great mood here, yeah. That's hell of an upset. Hell of an upset. Yeah, we still made $3 million. Nice night for those guys. A lot of guys over 100K, that's nice to see. When someone on the prelim, obviously he was only going to make $2K. But that $100,000 played a big factor there. Thank you all for watching episode 126 as we keep it rolling. And on to the next episode, which we're really getting to the heavy hitters now. I mean, that was a hell of a fight with Rothwell and Tim Sylvia. I can't wait to see how that heavyweight division plays in a factor, because we're going to do Crow Cop and Big Ben for sure. We'll see how he does as far as recovery. I don't want to have that fight be a Shockwave fight. I know we do a lot of heavyweight fights at the Shockwave main event, but I just don't think that's a big enough main event to do that on. But yeah, the next card is Pride 44. I haven't thought of a name yet, so I'll get to thinking, as because I think the main event is going to be I want to say it's Sereno Sato and Gilbert Melendez, Fabio Arnaldo and Chuck Liddell, though, as the co-main's pretty awesome. Overeem and Pedro Hizzo's a fun fight. Murillo and Scott Smith, that's a main event anywhere else, any other card. We also added the Pride 45 show, the Cold War in St. Petersburg. That's going to be where we're going to have Big Nog and Sergey 4. So that should be fun. And we'll just kind of see how everything else plays out. We're going to have a Bushido card in London, which so far we've had Stiebling and Lee Murray on the card. Obviously, Lee Murray from London. We'll probably have Bisping on the prelim, which we do. Yeah, he's taking on Filthy Tom. And Barnett and Pete Williams also on that card so far, which it's crazy thing. We're already thinking of fights for August, but yeah, you got to think ahead there. And we'll catch you guys next time for Pride 44. Take care, everyone.